Hello viewers. In this video, I'm sharing latest Windows Server interview questions and its answers which are being asked in year 2024. Keep watching my videos for latest updates in interview patterns. Subscribe to my channel and click on notification bell for latest video updates. Let's begin with the video.
Question 1. What are tools for Windows AD backup and restore? Answer. There are VM and Net Backup like third-party backup and recovery tools. Microsoft also has Windows Backup feature, which can be installed and can be used to take backup using WB admin command. Microsoft recommends to take system state backup of Active Directory servers using Windows Backup tool before any troubleshooting on Active Directory. Question 2. What is Tombstone Object and Tombstone Lifetime (TSL)? Answer. When an object is deleted, a small subset of deleted object is stored in Tombstone Object. Tombstone Object is replicated among all domain controllers to inform each other about deleted object. Tombstone is retained in AD for specific period of time, which is called Tombstone Lifetime. For servers later than 2003 Service Pack 1, TSL is 180 days. Tombstone Object is deleted once TSL of 180 days reached. After deletion of Tombstone Object, object deletion information cannot be replicated among all domain controllers. Question 3. What are lingering objects? Answer. When a domain controller is disconnected for a time longer than Tombstone Lifetime TSL, or domain controller is not able to replicate for more than TSL period, then deleted objects in Active Directory on all other domain controllers may still remain on disconnected or non-replicating domain controller. Such remaining objects on disconnected domain controller are called lingering objects. Below is the command to remove lingering objects from ADC. REP admin space remove lingering objects. Question 4. What is scavenging in DNS? Answer. When the scavenging period is configured on a DNS server, the timer starts for 7 days, or whatever the configured value is. Once the timer expires, the scavenging process runs and deletes stale DNS records. Question 5. What is AD replication? Answer. If any information is updated in one domain controller, DC, of the AD network, all other DC in the network should also be updated with the new information. This process is done in AD through replication. Before Windows Server 2000, Windows NT followed a master-slave approach to AD replication by employing a single writable primary domain controller PDC and multiple read-only backup domain controllers BDC. After Windows Server 2000, now it uses a multi-master approach for AD replication. In the multi-master replication, each domain controller is a writable master domain controller and can replicate data to all other DC. Question 6. How many AD partition do you know? Answer. I am aware of 3 AD partitions such as schema partition, configuration partition and domain partition. Schema partition holds objects definition and object attributes. Configuration partition holds a physical layout of sites, both of these partition replicated forest-wide. Whereas domain partition data is replicated only among all the domain controllers within a domain. Question 7. How to initiate a force replication in AD? Answer. Run below command to initiate a force replication. REP admin space / sync all space / AED. Where A means all partitions. Where E means enterprise, cross-site. Where D means identify servers by distinguished name in messages. Where by default AD does a pull replication and above command does a pull replication. If someone wants to do a push replication, then the command will change slightly as below. REP admin /sync all /APED. Where P means push. Question 8. What is the command to check network connection status? Answer. To check network port connection status, use below command. Net stat -o/p/f. Where switch A means active TCP connections. Where switch O means displays process identifier PID. Where switch P means to show protocol like TCP UDP. Where switch F means displays FQDN for each IP if possible. Question 9. What is DHCP relay agent? Answer. Any host or router that forward DHCP packets between client and server is known as DHCP relay agent. Question 10. What is a PIPA and what is its IP address? Answer. Automatic Private IP Addressing, a PIPA. It is also known as bad IP or 169 IP. Any device takes an 169 IP when it is not receiving IP from any DHCP server. Question 11. What is a PIPA IP address range? Answer. 169.254.0.1 to 169.254.255.255. Question 12. Can DHCP prevent unwanted devices from connecting and acquiring IP from DHCP? Answer. No. DHCP cannot discriminate devices based on MAC address or IP address. Whichever device connected in network will request for IP, DHCP server will serve the request and assign IP to requesting device. Question 13. What is DORA? Answer. DORA is an process in which devices acquire IP address from DHCP. D stands for discover, O stands for offer, R stands for request, and A stands for acknowledge. Let's now understand how it works. Client machine sends broadcast message to discover the DHCP server on network because client machine don't know the details of DHCP server. Now, DHCP server will receive client machine's broadcast message with IP request in response. DHCP server will offer IP addresses a client machine can choose from and the lease period till which client machine can use this IP. In next step, client machine will broadcast request message to DHCP server and requests for one of the IP client wants from IP addresses. This is last step in DORA process. DHCP server will send acknowledge message to the client machine when it receives the request message from the DHCP client. This message will contain the IP address and subnet mask that the server assigns to the client. Question 14. What is the command to release IP address? Answer. ipconfig /release. Question 15. What is command to renew IP address? Answer. ipconfig /renew. Question 16. What is DHCP scope? Answer. DHCP scope specifies address ranges from which DHCP server assigns IP address to clients. Question 17. Types of DHCP scope. Answer. There are three types of scopes present in DHCP. Normal scope allows A, B and C class of IP address ranges as well as subnet masks. Exclusion of IP address and reservation of IP address can be specified. Multicast scope allows assigning of the class of IP addresses, but it cannot specify subnet masks, exclusion of IP address and reservation of IP address. Super scope. It is a group of scopes that are bundled together and can be enabled or disabled as a single object. Question 18. What is DHCP NAK message? Answer. A DHCP server sends a DHCP NAK message in response to a client's DHCP request message. If a DHCP server cannot find matching lease records after receiving a DHCP request message, it delivers a DHCP NAK message to the DHCP client, indicating that no IP address is available. Question 19. What is DHCP failover? Answer. In DHCP failover, two DHCP servers share DHCP scope and lease information, enabling one server to provide DHCP leases to DHCP clients if the other server is unavailable. Question 20. What is the port No of DHCP? Answer. UDP port number 67 is on server side for incoming request and UDP port number 68 on client side for outgoing request. Question 21. What is DNS? Answer. Domain Name System, DNS. It translates various domain names to IP addresses. Question 22. What is DNS zone? Answer. It is an administrative spaces which grant more control over DNS components. Question 23. How many zones are there in DNS? Answer. There are 3 zones: primary, secondary and stub zone. Question 24. What is primary zone? Answer. Primary zone hold a writable master copy of DNS files or records. Question 25. What is secondary zone? Answer. Secondary zone is a read-only copy of primary zone. It serves as a secondary copy of primary zone. Secondary zone takes update from primary zone to keep its files or records updated. Question 26. What is stub zone? Answer. Stub zone is similar to secondary zone. The only thing separates it from secondary zone is an inclusion of files which are necessary to identify the authoritative DNS servers for this zone. Question 27. What types of DNS records exists? Answer. AAA, MX record, SRV record, SOA record, canonical record, name server record, TXT record, reverse lookup pointer PTR record, certificate record. Each of these records have different function and roles in DNS. Question 28. What is TTL in DNS? Answer. TTL is time to live. TTL defines a period of time a resolver is expected to cache a DNS query for each DNS record. Once the TTL is reached, a cached query is cleared, and a fresh query will be made by resolver for requested DNS record. TTL recommendation is of 24 hours, but if needed we can reduce it. Question 29. What is static and dynamic DNS record? Answer. Static DNS record is manually added record in DNS server, whereas in dynamic DNS, record gets updated through dynamic update by endpoints. Question 30. What is SRV record? Answer. It is a service record used to identify host that delivers service. Question 31. What is caching-only server? Answer. When a client machine approaches DNS server for a query and DNS server resolves the query for client machine by recursive query, then such resolved query is stored in DNS local cache till TTL is reached, and whenever any client machine queries for a same resource, then DNS server will answer the query from its locally stored cache instead of performing recursive query. Question 32. How many types of DNS queries are there? Answer. There are 4 types of queries. Authoritative DNS query. When a DNS query is made to an authoritative DNS server by client machine and it answers the query, then it is known as authoritative DNS query. Note: authoritative DNS server is a server which hosts the resource's DNS records. Recursive DNS query. In this type of query, when a DNS query is made by client machine, query goes to DNS server mentioned in its IPv4 configuration. If that DNS server does not hold the requested resource, then it reaches out to other DNS server from behalf of client machine until it finds authoritative DNS server to answer the requested query. Once the answer is found for query, then it provides the answer to client machine which requested for resource address through DNS query. Forwarding DNS query. In this type of query, when client machine makes a DNS query, request is sent to DNS server. If the DNS server doesn't has the answer, then it informs client machine that I don't have the answer, but I know the name server, which can hold this information, and then asks client machine to send query to the other name server. This process completes once the authoritative DNS server answers the query to client machine. Caching only DNS query. In this type of query, the address of authoritative DNS servers is cached. It means it catches the result of DNS query lookup. Question 33. What is forwarder DNS server? Answer. If the primary DNS server does not hold the answer to query made by an client machine, then it forwards the request to another DNS server that has been set up as forwarder DNS server. Question 34. What is forward and reverse lookup? Answer. Forward lookup. In this query, a name query is sent to the DNS server against IP address. Reverse lookup. In this query, if the query is made using IP address, then DNS server translates this IP address into name query. Question 35. What is SOA record? Answer. SOA means start of authority record. It is present in each zone. All resource records in the zone automatically use the TTL value included in SOA records. SOA records include the email address of the person who is responsible for maintaining the zone. The zone's current serial number, which is utilized in zone transfers, can be found in SOA records. Question 36. What is round-robin DNS? Answer. If we have set up round-robin in our DNS server for load balancing, then the first DNS query by any client machine will go to first DNS server and second query will go to second DNS server. Question 37. How to set round-robin in DNS server? Answer. Open DNS console from Administrative Tools, right-click on DNS and go to Properties. On the Advanced tab, put Check on Round-Robin option. Stay tuned in for next upcoming video series of recent interview questions asked by interviewers in 2024. All the best for your interview. We will help you to be prepared with latest unexpected question series and you will be able to answer them successfully.